by taking advantage of the liquidity provision business model, you can start earning passive income on your already existing cryptocurrency assets. If you don't already know what the liquidity as a service business model is, it's really simple and I'll explain it real quick. So we have decentralized exchanges in crypto such as Uniswap, Orca, and more. So if someone were to swap 3 Ethereum for, let's just say, Aerodrome here, look, they're going to have to pay a fee. In this case, it would be about $26 fee. But what's really cool is that a percentage of this fee gets paid out to the people that were providing liquidity to Uniswap to enable the swap to take place in the first place. So if I was providing liquidity to the Ethereum to Aerodrome pool, then I would be getting paid out when people are swapping one asset for another. And real quick, over in our DeFi legacy community, look at this. Anas put in about 56K in liquidity and made over $4,000. And he would be missing out on over $1,000 in earnings if these crypto assets were just sitting there and not in a liquidity pool. So this just goes to show the power of the liquidity as a service business model. And also look at Mitch. When Mitch found DeFi XL, went ahead and joined it, in his first 48 hours, he was up over $2,000 and made about $350 in earnings. And again, if his assets weren't in a liquidity pool, he'd be missing out on $350. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I tell you is financial advice, and there are risks to this investing such as divergence loss. So make sure you do your own due diligence. I'm just sharing my opinion. But now I can go ahead and show you ways that you can start finding these liquidity provision opportunities. It's really cool. So make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. So the first thing to do would be to go over to metrics.finance. Go ahead, click enter and load it up. Now this is the best liquidity provision software. It lets you first of all find liquidity provision opportunities, and then you can simulate your returns and start building out your portfolio. And then once your portfolio is built out, you can track it. So it's really cool. And let's go over to the discover section at the top, and we can go ahead and select our exchanges and networks we want to look at. I'm going to go ahead and select all for exchanges and select all for networks, since we can be pretty broad this video. Now it's showing over 2,000 pools to sort through. That's a lot of pools. So let's start narrowing it down. So first we can go to the fees APR filter, and let's look for pools that have over 25% APR. There we go. Now it filtered it down to about 1,500 pools. We can go to TVL and look for pools that have over, let's just say, $2.5 million in TVL. There we go. Now we're down to 275 pools. Now there are websites like DeFi Llama where you can go over to the yield section, pools, and look at liquidity pools this way, but you can't do really in-depth research on these pools. You can't see the history of the pools, such as the volume history, reward history, and you can't do really good due diligence like you can on Metrics Finance. You can't even simulate your portfolio and your potential earnings on websites like DeFi Llama. So Metrics Finance is by far the best tool to use. Right off the bat, we can see some pools like Pengu to Wrapped ETH or Wrapped Ethereum to Trump, like pools that include assets that aren't really blue chip. Like I wouldn't really want to take on exposure to Trump token because it could just be a pump and dump, or it could just be backed around hype, etc. And these coins could die really quickly. I like to look for blue chip positions, something like Wrapped Ethereum to USDC or USDT to Wrapped Ethereum, etc. So first of all, we can look at the Wrapped Ethereum to USDC position. We can see it has over 37% APR and over $400 million in TVL. So we can go ahead and simulate that in a new tab. And the first thing I want to do is set up the current price to where there's most liquidity. So you can see the liquidity chart here. I'm going to move that because of course I want to have the most accurate simulation that I can try to get. And now we can try to find our range. Now we have other videos here at BuildrWealth showing how to find a range. This video, I'm showing you how to find liquidity pools. So we'd want to find our range. Now, if you don't know, the tighter ranges are going to have higher APR and the bigger ranges are going to have less APR. But when you have a very tight range, you might have to check your portfolio every day, be very hands-on, and having to rebalance your position. And my personal investment strategy is having my investments as passive and as long-term as possible. So I don't want to be having to have a very tight range and checking my investments every day. So if we're looking at a range of about 2,926 to 4,250, we're looking at about 24% APR. Not the best, not the worst. So I could save it to my portfolio for later, or I could just keep looking at other opportunities. And scrolling down, you can see the volume history of the pool. You can see the fees, the volume, etc. You can also see how correlated these assets are. These assets have negative correlation. They're not correlated at all since it is a cryptocurrency paired with a stable coin. So I'm going to close this one for now, start looking at other opportunities, even though this isn't bad. We can go ahead and look at wrapped ETH to Uni over here, over on Uniswap. It's showing about 70% fees APR. Let's go ahead and simulate it in a new tab. We can set our sample deposit amount. I'm going to set it to $10,000, set it to whatever you're interested in investing, and then you can go to the current price and put it to where there's lots of liquidity. I'll put it right here, and then calculation range. We can zoom out, see how the pool has performed over the past 100 days, 120 days, or just the past 60 days. Okay, cool, I'm looking, and then we can start to mess with our range. If we're looking at about let's see, 194 for min price and then max price at about 305, we're looking at about 60% APR, or about almost 5% per month. That's not bad. And with a $10,000 deposit amount, we'd be estimated to get over $6,000 per year in fees and about 16 bucks a day, almost 17 bucks a day. And these assets are pretty correlated. You can see they're 83% correlated. So this is a green flag for this pool. And it's always important to check out the volume history. There are some days with lower volume in fees, but it's all right since every day is still having millions of dollars in volume and over $10,000 a day in fees. So the next step would be to look at Uni token and see what role does this play in the DeFi ecosystem and say, do I want to take on exposure to Uni token? And also look at wrapped Ethereum, check out what role it plays in DeFi ecosystem, and make sure you're familiar with both these tokens. And after doing your research, if you want to enter the liquidity pool and take on exposure to these assets, you can go save it to your portfolio in the top right. So far, if you're finding this video interesting, make sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. I love making videos for you guys and I want to keep improving the videos. Now, over on the third page, we can see USDC to Solana. I'm currently in this pool at the moment. You can see I have a sold to USDC position with a bit over $1,000 and my yield I've been earning consistently, and also I'm in range. Now, I could be making more money from this pool, but I have been traveling and haven't had the time to sit down and figure out a better range. I've been really busy the past few weeks, but I'm just being transparent. I do have this pool open. So we can go ahead and simulate this position in a new tab over here, and I'll set my sample deposit amount once again. And then you can see we're getting some weird numbers for current price, max price. See how it's 0.00. Let's go ahead and swap the assets at the top, and now we're getting readable numbers like 212.6, etc. So I'm going to move my current price to where there's a lot of liquidity, like so. And now we can start finding a range. So if I'm looking at about, say, 255, 258 max price, and then a min price of about 170 where it is, it's showing 62% yearly APR. That's solid. Solana is a pretty blue chip asset, and USDC is a stable coin. And scrolling down once again, these assets are not going to be correlated at all since it's a cryptocurrency paired with a stable coin. And looking at the volume history, it's really solid. Look at this. In fees, over 50K a day on a low day. Remember the last pool we looked at had like 14K, 10K on their low days? This one has over 50K in fees per day on their low days. And look, this day had over 200K in fees. So I'm in this pool and I'm earning fees that the traders are paying when they're exchanging their SOL to USDC or USDC to SOL, etc. And if you've done your due diligence on USDC to SOL and want to take on exposure to the liquidity pool, you can hit save to your portfolio for later. Now you're probably wondering how you can even enter these pools in the first place. It's pretty simple. So once you find a pool, say you want to enter this one, you would go over to the exchange it's on. So this one is on Orca. So you'd go over to Orca and then go to the pools section and search for it. So this one has SOL and USDC. So I would type in SOL, type in USDC, and then you look for the one. So these have all different fee tiers, as you can see right here. So this one has 0.04%. So look for the one with 0.04%. Click on it. And then for liquidity range, we're going to go to custom because we found our certain range. So if we go ahead and paste in our range, the 170.147 as the min price, then paste in our max price, about 258 right here. Sweet. We can see our range. We can see the estimated yield we'd be getting per day based on the past 24 hours of data. And you would scroll down and enter your deposit amount data and you'd be all set. You could deposit into the pool. And if you're looking to start making money on your cryptocurrency assets, DeFi Excel is the best place to start. We have a lot of DeFi education in here, an awesome community, etc. So if you want to learn more about it, make sure to click the link in the description down below. Anyways, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.